Hi everyone. Okay, so it is 10:33 p.m. and I took no this. So I can't sleep. I've always struggled with falling asleep, and I begged my psychiatrist to give me something, and he will say, well, I mean, he gave me something, but it didn't work on me because of something that happened. So we're trying this one, and I'm just going to ramble. I'm going to ramble you to sleep, or I'm going to ramble until I can't talk and that I have to go to sleep. If you hear a background noise, it's because I don't live alone anymore. I'm staying at my mom for a month or two before I move in with my best friend. So for now, I know I have something on my nose. Whatever. So for now, I mean tonight it's like Colanta, which is the French version of Survivor, and they're like really into it. I like it, but like only when there's drama, like people people being like, oh wow, what are you used what are you useful for? Toi tu sers à quoi? Sorry. So I feel tired, but I've had a long day. It's the reason why I got these. I finally kind of convinced him because I told him that yesterday I went to bed at 10 p.m. but because I drank a beer, because I was just so desperate to go to sleep, and I used to be an alcoholic, so that's not like a good idea to just stop drinking again just to go to sleep. So I kind of feel tired, but maybe it's just the placebo effect or something like that. And also I did take some Xanax. Anyway, so on the things that have happened to me today, I was officially diagnosed with ADHD. Guys, I'm 27 years old. I mean, I'll be 27 in like a month, and I've shown signs of ADHD for ages, but the psychiatrists I used to see were just crap. And I was talking about it with my mom, and she told me that well, they just told her that I was like faking being depressed and stuff like that. Like so I have multiple diagnoses because I guess when I was born, the gods decided that I would be too powerful if I was, if I had a normal brain and a normal uterus or something. So they decided to give me a heart disease, a bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and now ADHD. So it's not funny, but I feel like I'm kind of collecting, like, diseases, like chronic diseases, and like, like mental health problems, like Pokemon cards, which is kind of funny. Do you want some? It's aloe vera lip gloss. So I don't know if I'm being too loud because I haven't filmed a rambling video in such a long time. If you know me from my other, like older, former YouTube channel, and my former ASMR YouTube channel, like, that I love rambling, and I don't know, I just end up talking. I can't stop talking. I have a lot of things to say. I'll try to keep it light today because I don't want to burden you with like whatever, like the things that are going on right now in the world. I think it's pretty messed up. I'll also try not to swear too much in this video because like I said messed up instead of, so I think it's good. Anyway, so I got my bipolar diagnosis when I was 21, which is kind of funny because I always knew that there was something wrong with me. I mean, not wrong, you know what I mean. Don't use my words against me. But I've always known that there was something wrong with me. And, I did one of those, like, on my bipolar test. And actually it's a friend sent it to me because she did it, and like she was like, yeah, you have depression, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And basically my brother is so fucking loud, I swear to God. It's too late for an abortion anyway. Basically it doesn't tell you, yeah, you're bipolar. It tells you to, seek professional, help. And my score was like, go see someone. I didn't really, like, I kind of ignored it. I was like, yeah, I'm bipolar. Like, I didn't have the diagnosis, but at the end of the day, I knew between the depressive episodes, the manic episodes, hypomania, like the signs were there, and it started when I was like 13 or 12. So I just one day, like after like a very bad day, I went to the doctor. Sorry. And he referred me to a psychiatrist, and it was the first psychiatrist that, he was useful, and he diagnosed me on like the first session. Wait, is this is this night too weird? Yeah, whatever. He gave me my diagnosis on the first, night session. He was like, you're bipolar. And I was like, are you sure? I don't really want to be bipolar. And he was like, you don't have a choice. Like, and after a few years, he changed the diagnosis. So it went from bipolar to schizoaffective, which is like bipolar and schizophrenia. So I have like bipolar with a pinch of schizophrenia, and the first time he saw me, he told me, "You might be autistic too," and I was like, "That will make sense." Like, but then he said, "No, you talk too much. You're not autistic. You talk too much," and I was like, "Isn't it a spectrum?" But at least I got my diagnosis, I got my meds, and why isn't the sleeping pill like working? It will eventually. So yeah, that's kind of how I got my diagnosis. Then 6 years later, so I have a new psychiatrist now because my old one retired, and I remember he has had 3 cars, and like for a moment I was like, God, if I if only I could go to med school and to become a psychiatrist, like the money I'll be making. But instead, I'm going to. I'm studying for math exam, and if I pass it, I'll get to study computer science. So yeah, that pays well. And also, I really like computers. I'm kind of scared of computers, but that's because I watched Terminator when I was way too young. It's still my favorite though. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I went to the psychiatrist and I was like, I want to know if I'm autistic as well, because I know there's something else. Like, I'm not just bipolar and schizophrenic, there's something else. And for a while, like from time to time, I would ask myself, like, do I have ADHD? And then I was like, no, it's just like the bipolar making my brain do weird stuff. So I just, go to the psychiatrist a few weeks ago, and I'm telling him about this dream I had. I usually only have nightmares, so me having a dream is a big deal. It's like good. And I tell him about that dream I had of me taking cocaine, and it was, don't do drugs, it's bad. And it was so good. I felt relaxed. Okay, so sorry, the dog is like kind of dogging. And it felt so good, and I was like chill, and I was like relaxed, and I was like just dancing, but I wasn't excited. I wasn't like filled with energy. So I tell my psychiatrist about that dream, and I didn't tell him that in the dream I mixed it with Xanax, because I don't want him to take away my Xanax. I don't want him to think that I have an Xanax addiction, because I kind of do. but not in a way of I need it all the time. When I run out, I run out, and I don't really care. But anyway, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I went to a birthday party. Like that, it was a dude that, whom at that time was my best friend. Then he betrayed me in the worst way possible. But at the time, like, we were friends. I really enjoyed hanging out with him, and there was, Coke. So I was like, okay, why not? Because it was my first time taking it, and before I had smoked weed and stuff like that, and I took it, and I don't know, it was like chill. Like I wasn't like, I don't know, it felt like I had smoked weed. Or it felt like I had, like, it felt like drinking 1,000 liters or a thousand gallons of chamomile tea. I know, it's weird. Anyway, so that was 5 years ago. It was great, except at the end, because another one of my friend asked if he, could kiss me, and I was like, no. And I was kind of disappointed because I thought that, like, we were friends, but like I thought he viewed me as a friend, and he didn't. So yeah, I guess that's that. But he was very nice about it, which is, well, what the, like, he took the rejection, like, pretty well, which is kind of a relief, because some women, like, get hurt when they say no, which is why some married women, or like some women, like, who have boyfriend or boyfriends or girlfriends will say yes, will give their number to a stranger, just to make sure that, I don't know, they don't get shot or something. So anyway, so I tell all this to my psychiatrist, and I was like, yeah, it was like smoking weed, but like 1,000 times. And he was like, I'm going to give you, he said, I'm going to give you something, you're going to feel it, like, feel it out, and your mom is going to feel it out too. And basically it's like kind of a test, like, to assess, like an assessment. That reminds me of the movie, it was really great. I think it was Elizabeth Olsen played in that movie. It was really good. I really liked it. I love that actress, actually. And that's anyway. It's like kind of like, to see what kind of behaviors you had as a child and as an adult. So it's like the same questions, but like as a child and as an adult. So I had to, like, cross, like, the little squares, and my mom had to, like overline, with, like, I don't know how to say that. Anyway, so I showed it to my psychiatrist, and he was like, you have ADHD. So he told me to go get an electrocardiogram, and I asked him, is it for, like, is it to help with the diagnosis? And he told me, no, it's to see if I can, like, if you're allowed to have a psychostimulant, because I have a heart disease, and even with people who don't have heart diseases, like, I think this med is called like Ritalin. We don't have Adderall in France. Okay, let me just check. And so, like, it was very funny because when I got out of that, like, appointment, I called my best friend, and I was like, I might get diagnosed with ADHD just because I told my psychiatrist about how I took coke 5 years ago, and like now last time I smoked weed was like, I don't know, 3 years ago. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol. Well, I drank a beer, but that was so I could go to sleep. Because basically I was just desperate. But now I don't really feel the appeal of drinking, especially because, I don't know, it was like, I used to be, an alcoholic, and it was kind of hard. And since, when I drank that beer yesterday, it had been such a long time that I was like drunk, like just one beer drunk, and then I went to bed, and I just slept for 8 hours. I'm really bad at math. Sorry. I counted on my fingers. Sorry. Returning. So yeah, it's called Ritalin, and in French it's methylphenidate. I like that name. So yeah. So I got my appointment for my electrocardiogram on Friday, and I hope that I can, like, get that, have that treatment because it will kind of make life easier for me. Because if you have ADHD, you know how hard it can be. Like, sometimes it feels like I'm in prison in my own brain, which is kind of weird. It's a weird feeling. It's like, I know I need to move, I know I need to study, I know I need to do stuff, but I just can't move. I can't get out of bed. And this, along with my bipolar disorder and, like, my PTSD, and I have a lot of things going on, but you know what? It made me funny. I am really, really funny. Like, and this is really important because my favorite hobby in my life is making my best friend laugh. So yeah. But yeah, I guess the only bad thing I do is I do smoke cigarettes. I stopped vaping. Let me tell you right now, smoking cigarettes, well, vaping is more harmful than smoking cigarettes. Just because, when you vape, you can vape everywhere, anywhere. Like there's no smell, kind of. It depends on, what you use. Which means you always have it in your hand. You don't have to go outside. Smoking cigarettes, it's like different. Anyway, so I kind of like, I stopped vaping and now I smoke cigarettes. And I bought, nicotine gums. So now I'm slowly transitioning from cigarettes to gums, to nicotine gums, to normal gums. And some also when I get a craving, like when I want to smoke a cigarette but I don't want to chew gum, I eat an apple. I think I don't know if it's a green flag or a beige flag, but I keep a bag of apples by my bed. That way, when I want to eat an apple, I can just wait. Do I need to pee? Sorry, okay. This is weird. Sometimes I don't feel like my body doesn't tell me what I need, so I have to push on my bladder to see if I need to pee or not. It's kind of funny. So anyway, so yeah, I got my diagnosis. Yeah, only took what, 14 years, but yeah, at least I got it. And I told him, I was like, is that why sometimes I can like spend 10 hours studying, like, locking in tunnel vision, stuff like that? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So it's like a kind of a magic power, but you don't really control it. So I think I'll kind of be unstoppable if I am allowed to take those meds. So yeah, like I'm kind of excited about it, but I had to take the appointment with a doctor I don't know. I don't like being touched by like doctors I don't know. I don't even like being touched by like doctors I know. I hate that. It's like extremely, I don't know. I don't like that. I mean I like being touched. Like for example, when you go to the beautician and you get your eyebrows done, and that's not, that doesn't feel good. But then you're like, should I get a back massage? And usually I do get a back massage, and it feels so good. I wanted to go to the hairdresser because I needed to cut my hair, which I did it myself, which is why it looks kind of wonky and weird. But honestly, I did a good job. I just need someone to like cut like here behind. Anyway, so I went to like a hairdresser. I was like, hi, do you have any like openings for today? And he was like, no, but you can come back tomorrow. And I was like, okay, let's set an appointment. And I was like, how much is it? and it was like 78 euros. €78. 78 €. Du tout de ma gueule. Je te demande pas de me rendre blonde avec des mèches colorées genre bleu, rose, rouge, jaune. Je te demande pas. Je te demande pas de me mettre de l'or dans les cheveux. Hein. I'm not asking you to put gold and diamonds in my hair. Je veux juste shampoing, coupe, une frange. Puis quand une frange, c'est 78 balles. So yeah, I was like kind of shocked. And I was like, yeah, no. So I just went home and I was like, I'll find, somewhere cheaper. And I ended up doing it myself. Usually when I do it myself, it ends up being like too short. But like this is good. This is perfect. The fringe, bangs, like it's good. I looked in. So yeah. I still don't feel the effect of the meds. I'm going to take the other half. So yeah. But tomorrow I think I'm hungry. I don't know if I'm hungry or if I'm just in another hyperphagia. Hyperphagy. How do you say that? In French we say hyperphagie. I've had like episodes like quite a lot actually. Like for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, anything. Anyway, I'm going to get something to eat. I want something like sweet. And go to sleep. Bye. Don't do drugs. I mean, like, it's okay to do drugs, but make sure you know where it's, coming from. Like, for example, I'm in France, and like, I guess it's kind of, I don't know if it's safer. I mean, it was 5 years ago, so you don't have like all that fentanyl, but in shit. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have the data to back what I'm saying, so I don't know enough on this subject to talk about it. But anyway, don't do drugs before you're 25 or 26. Let your brain just, adjust. Like, this is better. And because the thing is, addiction is bad. I was lucky because when I used to be an alcoholic, when I stopped drinking, I was able to stop like this, because I mean, I scared myself. I blacked out and I ended up in the hospital. And like now I'm scared of alcohol, and same with weed. One day I smoked weed, but it was on the day that I started a new antidepressant, and I fainted. I did not end up in the hospital, thank God. So I just stopped like this. And sure, sometimes I'm like, I wish I could smoke like a joint or something. But ever since, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, this can make it so much worse. And I won't gamble with that. Like, my uncle is like schizophrenic, and one day he disappeared for like 48 hours, and when he came back, he was just not the same. And that's actually something I'm quite scared of. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to me. I think I'd rather die rather than, not be myself. No. But yeah.